We begin with the passing of the 39th president, Jimmy Carter. Carter passed away yesterday, surrounded by his family. He was 100. The president who lived the longest leaves behind a long legacy.
Already, people have been gathering at the Carter Presidential Center, placing flowers in a memorial to the former president. I want to bring in Eyewitness News reporter Phil Taitt with much more on the late president's life and legacy. So much of what we know about the good that he did came after he left the White House, which is just astonishing. But when you think about 100 years, that's a long life to get to.
A life well lived indeed. He was even a Sunday school teacher. So much history in this remarkable life. He is the longest lived U.S. president, and that is Jimmy Carter, who began his journey 100 years ago. Well, he faded into the sunset just yesterday. But let's take a look back at a life full of sacrifice, of service that still shines bright. This morning, there are many tributes honoring the life and legacy of former President Jimmy Carter. At 100 years old, he became the longest living president in U.S. history.
We may never see his like again. We'd all do well to try to be a little more like Jimmy Carter.
In his address to the nation Sunday, President Biden remembering his friend of nearly 50 years.
Millions of people all around the world, all over the world, feel they lost a friend as well, even though they never met him. And that's because Jimmy Carter lived a life measured not by words, but by his deeds.
President-elect Donald Trump acknowledged their political differences before writing, quote, "The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude." And former President Barack Obama saying Carter taught all of us what it means to live a life of grace, dignity, justice, and service. And abroad, condolences are also pouring in from a growing list of world leaders. Carter's one term in office was defined by foreign policy. He brokered a historic peace deal between Israel and Egypt, but the 1979 Iranian Revolution caused both an energy crisis in the U.S. and the kidnapping of 52 American hostages, which played a role in his political undoing. After leaving the White House, Carter could be found building homes with a Habitat for Humanity even in his 90s. In recognition of his humanitarian efforts, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. But Carter considered his marriage to Rosalind to be his greatest accomplishment.
Rosalind say, okay, finally, and staying with me all this long.
The couple celebrated their 77th wedding anniversary last year before Rosalind passed away at the age of 96. And there have been a ton of tributes pouring in from around the globe and here at home. The Clintons released a statement that said, in part, guided by his faith, President Carter lived to serve others until the very end. And listen to this. His life of humanitarian efforts could be seen across the country and even in our backyard. Over in the Lower East Side, he joined Habitat for Humanity in restoring a crumbling apartment building in the 1980s. And we're told he was the first person to show up and he was the last to leave. That project put this organization on the map. Definitely a whole lot to look back at when you think of the life of this former president, guys.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he was attached so much to Habitat for Humanity, so much so people thought he actually started the whole effort.
That's right. So many people on social media have said, Michelle, why didn't you say that? And I'm like, it started 10 years earlier.
But he certainly elevated it to a height that
put it on the map.
So many
Absolutely.
great things to come.
Thank
Phil,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.